Yes. All right, we'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Monday, December 30th meeting of the Board of County Commissioners. My name is Shelley Bueller, and I have the privilege of serving as chair of the commission alongside Commissioner Bob Archer.
Good morning.
Commissioner Kevin Cook.
Good morning.
Good morning. And I'll try to speak up. I have a cold, but so I apologize if I'm not that loud this morning. I'm usually really loud. Just kidding. Madam Clerk, the first item, please.
First item today is item 3, consent agenda.
That one item on the consent agenda. Is there a question?
Motion to approve consent agenda as presented.
There's a motion by Commissioner Cook
Second.
and second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Item 4, new business. A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Madam Chair, this morning we have one set of vouchers dated December 27th, 2013, in the total amount of $1,897,083.84. I'll make a motion to approve the vouchers as presented.
Thank you. There's a motion by Commissioner Archer.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
There are no correction orders today. Item A3, consider authorization and execution of contract C639-2013 with Willis of Greater Kansas, Inc. for Shawnee County's 2014 property insurance coverage. And Commissioners, this is my item. And this is the insurance that covers everything in our property insurance line, and our boiler, automobile, excess. Of course, we just carry third-party liability on our automobile, excess work comp. And I do have Bill Niswanger here from Willis. If you have any questions, if you'd like to have him do a brief presentation, that's...
Come on up. Good morning.
Good morning. Bill Niswanger from Willis Group here in Topeka. First of all, let me wish each of you season's greetings and Happy New Year a couple days in advance.
Thank you.
For the past couple years at these meetings, I've had Jan Mason from my office attending as well, and she was not able to come today due to another conflict, but she and I are part of the local service team at Willis here in Topeka that helps administer and advise on the county's property and casualty insurance program. And in our area, as Cindy said, those main coverages deal with all the real and personal property of the county, the data processing equipment. We have the vehicles, automobile liability, and excess workers' compensation, about $250 million in property values for the county. Throughout the year, we work with Cindy and her office staff, primarily John Morgan and Rhonda Praisewater, on planning sessions, meetings, and as far as just the day-to-day administration of this. So I'm here this morning to report to you on those planning sessions and make some comments about the coverages as they are. I believe each of you should have a brief executive summary. It's really a financial overview of the premium aspects of that. Before I go into summary, I want to comment just for a minute about our general administration of the program. And we are active in the insurance markets day in, day out, year-round. And from this activity, we develop suggestions and recommendations for clients based on overall climate, market, as well as goals of the county. And one of those recommendations we've made historically is to usually every 3 to 4 years take a deeper look at the market through an RFP process. And right now, we last did this for the 2012 year, so we're into our second year from that last RFP. And as far as this year, through, again, meetings with Cindy and also meetings we had with each of the insurance carriers about continuing on for another year, our recommendation is to do that, to retain the incumbent carriers and their programs for the 2014 year. And we also would have the recommendation, at least at this point, to be considering probably in the summer, another look at the idea of an RFP. And if that's acceptable to you, then we'd prepare those kits of information and make those distributions to a number of carriers. Last time we did this, we had 12 insurance companies competing for the business. So we made one change out of that process too, to a carrier that saved the county some money. With this in mind, why don't we go ahead and look at the summary. And on page 2, again, this is pretty much down to a financial summary only. On page 2, when we did the RFP last time, this was about a page and a half of carriers. This is necessarily short. This just shows the present carriers. Travelers is the lead carrier on your property. On the page 3, this is where we have a comparison of premiums from 2013 to 2014. And I guess I can go right to the bottom line on this and make a little comparison to last year. The bottom line is that premiums will increase by about $62,000. And about half of that increase, or $31,000, is due to rate changes from the carriers. That is, if we didn't get any additional vehicles, any additional values, kept everything status quo, we'd see about a $31,000 premium increase just from rates. The other $30,000 is based on payroll, a little bit of payroll changes. We've added that the fleet has increased from 482 units to 496, but we go right down the line, and on the rate side of it, we've been looking at 3 to 4%. Generally, as the rate increased, the auto was a little higher at 7 due to some claims activity and claim payments. So last year, this number was $99,741. So compared to last year, it's about $37,000 less of an increase in cost than what it was. The bottom line looks to be about 9.2% this year, and last year was 18. Before I guess close, and I want to answer any questions you have, I do want to mention a couple other items that we work on. In addition to part of our job is selecting carriers and dealing with placements and evaluating coverage forms, we're also engaged in offering loss control, safety recommendations, things that might be cost-saving services for the county. Cindy has been, is really the gatekeeper with us on information goes to Cindy and she disseminates it to department heads and whatnot. But I'll look back just briefly at what had been done in the past year, and there were a number of programs, office ergonomics, driver safety. We had random property inspections done by Travelers Insurance, which is there to identify hazards and then to point out suggestions that might be safety oriented or premium reducing. Playground safety, this is fairly a bigger issue with Parks and Rec and that type of equipment that you're now overseeing, all of it. Seminar on that. Lately, information on how to respond to privacy breaches and cyber issues, and that undoubtedly is what's front and center of everything anymore. Mention Target, the city of Wichita has had hacker viruses have been a target of some of that activity. So we are engaged in doing those things to try and offer greater value. One other thing that I will mention is that we try to look regularly at options in the program, and we've done this. One has been deductibles, where we'll go through a whole line of what deductibles you have for various types of coverage, and we'll get options on cost savings for higher deductibles. We've met with Cindy on those in the past year, and made decisions based on that. There's also been something, earthquake insurance was mentioned a year and a half ago. At least, again, we're not trying to necessarily sell the county anything, but I just want to make you aware of these exposures and these issues. The county's a big business, and we carry through what we do for other businesses on the private side. So the last thing I'll mention is just about the one thing I like to encourage is internal evaluation groups or study groups. And we've talked with Cindy about this, and she concurs with doing this. The involvement of her and perhaps other department heads, maybe some from the counselor's office and finance. Really front and center again is privacy and security and the issues that face a business in the event of loss of data through to hackers or viruses. What do you do? And I've given Cindy a booklet here 2 or 3 weeks ago, kind of an informational privacy 101. And I think she's circulating that around now, so we'll have more to do on that. I do want to say on behalf of the entire Willis Group, we appreciate representing the county and want to do the best job we can, not just from our people here in Topeka, but also those in Overland Park and Wichita. So with that, I'll say thank you and ask if there are any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Bill. Are there questions at this point?
No, I do not.
You're not, Commissioner Archer?
Yeah, and thank you for coming this morning, and I like the idea of getting people involved, particularly our financial administrator and expenses that are gonna be this dramatic. And I looked at the rate increase it was over 9%, and I wondered what caused that. But if I understand you correctly, it's rate changes by our carriers. We have a larger pool of property that we're covering, and then finally we have experience problems
Well, each
with our coverage.
the automobile area was where we had a 7.7% increase in rate. And part of those rate changes are driven by claims that a client has. So the first year we moved this from Travelers, we had kind of a spike in claims. EMC is the carrier now, and they came in and wrote it when Travelers you'd had very good experience. So right off the bat, they had a spike in claims. It's improving this year, and it's not at any catastrophic level, but it does affect the pricing from the underwriter. But the property was 3% from Travelers. The excess workers' compensation was 4%. And we found those all to be good market competitive rates.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
I might just mention, as if we're looking at evaluation groups or internal processes, keep in mind that the Security Council is there also, and there's representatives from IT who serve on that Security Council that's already in place. So that might be something to work.
And IT is the informational book that he was talking about. I did give that to Pat because it did
Great.
have to do with cybersecurity.
Great.
But of course, that's additional coverage. But just some of the things for Pat to look over
Sure.
and the council's office and such
Right.
to determine our exposure.
Sure.
So that's what he has.
Those vulnerabilities,
Mhm.
yes. So but you're aware of the Security Council as well, or maybe not?
Yeah.
So,
Yes,
okay,
yeah.
make sure
Through
Cindy gets you
Cindy.
information on
I
that.
did make sure they did that.
Okay. All right. No further questions? Anyone in the audience want to comment on this? Not on the approval of the contract?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.
Item A4, consider authorization and execution of contract C 640-2013, amending the 2013 ASI Flexible Benefit Plan to allow up to $500 annual carryover for employee health care flexible spending accounts, and authorization and execution of contract C 641-2013 for the 2014 ASI Flexible Benefit Plan. And Commissioners, this is the first item, the first contract is a change to our, just in the nick of time, our 2013 plan. That was I did talk to you about that
Right.
in September. The IRS had in October, they had a change, and this group just got the contract to me, so
Okay.
to change it. And the other one is our 1-year contract for ASI
For
for
ASI.
flexible benefits for
Okay.
2014.
Good deal.
And there's been no change in their charges.
Okay. Thank you. Cindy, questions?
No.
Is there a motion?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, after you.
I'll move for approval of the 2 contract amendments.
I'll second.
It's motion by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item B, planning. Number 1, consider approval of resolution number 2013-199, authorizing a conditional use permit to reauthorize an existing dog kennel on property located at 8235 Southwest 10th Street.
Good morning, Commissioners. Barry Beagles, Shawnee County Planning Department. Given the recommendation of both the Planning Department and Planning Commission and lack of opposition, I'm just going to be brief on this. As indicated, this is a conditional use permit request sought by the Castanedas to reauthorize an existing dog kennel for property at 8235 Southwest 10th. It may sound strange on its face to say, well, we're reauthorizing an existing dog kennel. The reason for that is that they operate under a special use permit that was approved back in 1970. Unfortunately, the resolution authorizing the dog kennel contained absolutely no criteria whatsoever to define the character and scope of what that existing dog kennel operation was. Earlier this year, the Castanedas approached the Planning Department about building a 9,375 square foot kennel building as an addition to their property. That building is about 4 times larger than the existing kennel building that they currently operate out of. It would be a dramatic improvement with regard to their operations. It would modernize things, give them the space that they need to conduct their operation. We understand that. As with all changes to an approved use permit, there was 2 choices that could be made. One is to consider the nature of the change a minor amendment or a major amendment. Minor amendment would mean that the change is relatively insubstantial, it would have no off-site impacts, and therefore it could be reviewed and approved administratively by the planning director. The second would be as a major amendment, which means that the nature of the change is substantive enough that it would be considered appropriate to extend it through a public hearing process, give public review, and ultimately bring it before the county commission for determination. I was leaning in the direction of a major amendment just given the sheer size and scale of the building in relation to their existing facility. The applicant indicated, well, let's go ahead and do the conditional use permit since it's a public hearing either way. It would allow us to bring our existing facility in compliance with the existing zoning regulations and accommodate any future, activities that they wanted to do. And so that's the direction that was pursued. As indicated, this did appear before the Planning Commission for public hearing on December 9th. There was no opposition. The Planning Commission ultimately recommended approval by a vote of 5-0-1 with 1 abstention. Planning Department also had recommended in its report to the Planning Commission approval as well, subject to conditions governing site plan changes as well as in their written plan narrative to further define some of the aspects. We do not, both Planning Commission and Planning Department did not view the proposed building that was proposed to be built to be a negative or a detrimental effect in relation to neighboring properties. In fact, 3 sides of the property of their property is bounded by non-residential usage. There's only residential use on one side, which is immediately to the east. And given the 43-year history of this, we did not see that this change would be any more of an effect with respect to neighboring property than their existing operation. So with that, I'll conclude my comments.
Thank you, Barry. Other questions? No? None?
No, since there's no opposition, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution and wish the business owners much success in the future.
Second.
Thank you. There's a motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Thanks for being here this morning, too.
Item C, Sheriff's Office. Number 1, consider approval of encumbrance of $59,154.78 for the purchase of an Aerial Flex P25 radio service monitor from the state of Kansas contract.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, Sheriff.
Sheriff Herman Jones, Shawnee County Sheriff's Office there. I have, what you have before you is basically is just encumbrance for some money for our new radio system. This is a device that is used for basically monitoring and checking the mobile units, the transceiving and the receiving of our mobile units there. It also acts pretty much as a backbone for the system that we have right there. It also keeps us in regulations for the FCC frequencies. It does check through our technicians. But it's basically a device that we'll need. We want to encumbrance that so when we get the system online, we've got this ready to go.
Thank
Any
you.
questions?
I have none.
I would move to approve the encumbrance.
Motion by Commissioner Cook.
I'll
Commissioner Archer, do you have a
second, but I
question?
do have a couple of questions,
Sure.
if I may. Is this going to be paid for out of the CIP, Sheriff?
The idea is that it will come in, we didn't originally have it in that schedule there because it was just an oversight on our part right there. We wanted to put that in there. I believe we've had audit finance, we've had that conversation with her, trying to put that in.
Okay. The only other question I had was, is who's going to operate this piece of equipment?
This is our radio techs that work for the sheriff's office.
Okay, and they do have the expertise?
Oh, yes.
Okay, I'm double checking. I'll second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item C2, consider authorization and execution of contract C 642-2013, addendum to contract C 48-193 for the purchase of fuel to sustain law enforcement vehicle operations during the 2014 budget year, utilizing 2013 budget funds in the amount of $350,000.
Commissioners, what you have here is just basically just utilizing what we know and our knowledge of the shortfalls that we're probably going to have for budget of 2014. We're trying to utilize some fundings that we have for this year. And basically it is just an amendment to the contract. It doesn't change anything. It just allows us to buy, have a block purchase of fuel, not at a set price, but we'll just buy down from the $350,000 there. So it just, in our estimation, it just makes good business price decisions to go with that right there. So
Questions?
Motion to approve the contract.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Archer.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Cook. Just have one question, Sheriff. This
Sure.
will cover your fuel for 14 then?
this
Or
will
not all?
probably, in our estimates, it'll probably be just a little bit shy of that right there, but this will give us a pretty good dent in what we can have to sustain for next year, so.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor of the motion say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Item D, audit finance. Number 1, consider approval of 2014 requests for memberships, dues, and subscriptions.
Good morning, Betty Griner, Financial Administrator. I provided you with a list of the memberships, dues, and subscriptions that were submitted as part of the 2014 budgets from each of the departments, and am just asking for your approval for those. I would like to mention, though, that these are the items that were requested on the budget, so these were estimated amounts. Now, the amounts that come in, are in a lot of cases going to be higher than this amount because these were based on the prior year's amounts. So I have them listed here by department with the general expense items at the very beginning.
Thank you, Betty. Questions on this side? Commissioner Archer?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I looked at the list of memberships, dues, and subscriptions, and it's over 5 pages. It totals over $138,000. And I guess I want to make a motion to defer consideration of these for 2 weeks until January the 13th, 2014. And in the meantime, I would ask that elected officials review theirs. These are the kind of things that go year after year and nobody really pays attention to because we've always paid these and we've always done these. So I would respectfully ask elected officials to look at theirs and see, to make sure they're pertinent and important, and if they can be eliminated, any of them, I would appreciate that. For department heads, I would ask that any amount over $100, there be justification for that expenditure. I would like to know how it impacts Shawnee County and the mission of the organization. And I'll give you an example. I'll start with the county commission. We pay almost $3,600 a year to the National Association of Counties, $300 a month. I look at a newsletter that we get from them, and to be honest with you, I can get the information from the Wall Street Journal or the Washington Post that we get. I think that's a waste of tax dollars. That would be, in my opinion, the first one to go. But I think all of these need to be reviewed. I think if they can be culled out and eliminated, I'd like to see that done. So that's my motion to defer consideration of this for 2 weeks, Madam Chair.
Questions, Commissioner Cook?
I have no problem with the outline and the request for deferral. I think that's well-intentioned. I think that that's a good plan. I would agree with Commissioner Archer regarding the County Commission's National Association of Counties. Likewise, we get a newsletter, a monthly report, but it's really not something that is going to improve. But my question for Ms. Greiner is going to be, are we needing to approve this today for the 2014 year? Is there an issue of deferring it or delaying it? And just because it's listed here, does this mean that it's going to be approved later on by the County Commission?
And first of all, no, it does not have to be approved today. What would happen, though, is none of these payments would be made in January until something is approved. So if a department sent it to, sent it in for payment, it would be held until it is approved or not approved, either way. So I don't see that as an issue. What was the second? Sorry.
But ultimately, each one of these comes before the County Commission for approval?
No.
No.
This comes on to you as a
bulk.
group. And then, once they are approved, then that is giving the county clerk's office authority to pay those memberships and dues.
Commissioner,
Hold on just a second, Madam Clerk. Betty, I have a couple questions for you, and I'll get to you. But these are line items within their budgets, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And so, most likely, those department heads have looked at their budgets, and they may not even be renewing these
That's right.
subscriptions. So, several of those budgets were cut pretty severely, and I would guess that that was one place that they looked at. So I think the list needs to be cleaned up, just because of that, because this is what they presented when they requested their 14 budget, and this is not the result of their cuts.
That is correct.
Their
and
adjustments.
yes.
So I think that's important to note. I would caution against right away cutting the membership for the National Association of Counties. I believe, and I would like some feedback from the department heads, and I think I'm going to hear from the clerk about that in a minute, about how that impacts, because it represents, Shawnee County is represented then. And that, to my understanding, is the only organization that represents counties in Washington on county-specific items. So if you want to add to.
I have two things. One thing for Commissioner Cook, you will see throughout the year membership subscriptions, dues items that come on the agenda. Those are items that are over and above what's approved here. So
Okay.
you do see that, and that might explain that. And for the National Association of Counties, the county does receive benefit other than just a weekly or a monthly newsletter, whether you get it electronically or by paper. We have a program through our health agency that provides a prescription drug card to anyone that wants it. They can just get it. And there is a number, and I have not presented the dues, but I do have information, and they track how many dollars have been saved by the Shawnee County residents through this program. We have been doing this program for, I don't think, does Alice, pardon? 10 years, yeah, I was gonna say 8 to 10 years, and it's been going on way before any of the program or discount cards that were out there, and they are restricted discount cards, but it's a substantial savings to our residents. And we also, as Commissioner Buell, she said we have representation in Washington. We also have our the stationery and office products that we have. We have a contract with them. That is through National Association of Counties, and we get deep discounts for items through them. And all of the departments, majority of them, order all their information through their products through there. So it's more than just a newsletter,
Well,
just for that information.
And if I may.
Yes,
Madam Chair,
Commissioner.
And that's good information to know. If we're spending money and making money, or there's other justification that makes good sense, good business sense, then that's what we just need to document, in my opinion. Because if I'm a taxpayer looking from the outside and looking in, seeing that we're spending almost $140,000 on membership and dues, and there's 5 pages of it, I just don't understand that. Okay? So if there's good justification from the department heads, that it's mission critical, it saves the county money, it's smart, makes good business sense, then that's what we need, that's the story we need to tell. So, thank you, Madam Chair.
Any reason for 2 weeks, though? I mean, is it just,
Well, I didn't think, with the holiday this week, I didn't know if that would allow enough time to review. But did you want 3 weeks?
I'm just thinking if we could do that earlier. I don't want it to get lost in January. What about the 9th of January? It's next Thursday.
Perfect.
Is that all right? With that amendment, you'll
Then
Yes.
I will
second?
second the motion to defer until January the 9th.
Okay.
May I ask for a clarification? Do you want that to be run through my office and
Yes.
compiled for
Yes.
you?
That'd be great.
Mhm.
I won't-
Yeah, my guess is
Sorry.
that this list will be a lot shorter. I mean, just because of budget. I don't think we're probably going to be purchasing a lot of these anyway, so. Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item D2, consider approval of resolution number 2013-200, authorizing the issuance of Shawnee County credit card for official business for an employee of the 3rd Judicial District Court Services.
Motion to approve the resolution.
Second?
So motion by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thanks, Betty.
Item E, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of request to award bid to Sellers Equipment for the purchase of a new forklift at a cost of $19,188.
Morning, Tom.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Flanagan, Public Works. Public Works received bids from 3 vendors for the replacement of our 1964 model Alice Chalmers forklift from Sellers Equipment, Berry Materials, and Volvo Rentals. And Sellers submitted the lowest bid of $19,188. We're attempting to get rid of the old forklift due to safety reasons and the fact that we can't get replacement parts for that anymore. But we're going to attempt to defray some of this cost if you choose to award it to Sellers by putting the old machine on Purple Wave and see if we can get some bids for the old machine. The funding source for this purchase will come from the Public Works Capital Equipment Fund outlay, and Tom Block has spoken with Betty about this, and we are still underneath the budget that was approved for this. Our recommendation is to go forward with the award to Sellers.
Thank you, Tom. Are there questions? Move approval of the request.
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you. Happy New Year. Get
You
well.
too.
Item F, Information Technology. Number 1, consider approval of request for sole source purchase from Sirius Computer Solutions, Inc. for interim mainframe operations support at a cost of $3,120, and for an onboarding fee for mainframe operation support contingent on Board of County Commissioners approval of a completed statement of work agreement at a cost of $21,000.
Frank McGee, Shawnee County IT. I'm just here to answer. I can explain this to you. We've been working on decommissioning our mainframe for several years. We're down to the last parts of that. We anticipate our mainframe having to keep supporting our mainframe for at least 2 more years. Because we're doing this, our system administrator, Doug Seelan, has been looking for another job, and he has actually found one back in Oklahoma, which is where he came from. It doesn't make sense for us to go out and try to find another system administrator. I don't know if we could even find one, knowing that they'd only have a job for 2 years anyway. So what we've done is we've talked to Sirius, who is one of our vendors who helps supplies part of our maintenance and software maintenance for our mainframe. And we're working to come up with a way where they can manage the system for us for up to 2 years while we're trying to get everything off of the mainframe. And that's what this is about.
Thank you, Frank. Are there questions? I know Pat spoke with us, or at least with me,
Glad to hear
earlier
that.
about this. I'm assuming he did with the others as well, so are there questions?
I'll move to approve the contract with Sirius.
So motion by Commissioner
I'll
Cook.
second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Item F2, consider authorization and execution of contract C 643-2013 for 1 year of access to browser stack web-based utility for testing of county-produced web pages and web applications on various versions of web browsers and hardware platforms at a cost of $421.
This is something that will actually save us money because we don't have to buy hardware. And we have a platform where we can test all of our applications before we put them out for the public, make sure they work on all the different browsers, work on all the different hardware. It's a lot cheaper than us buying that hardware anyways.
Thank you. Questions?
Motion to approve the contract.
Motion
Second.
to approve by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Thanks, Frank.
Item G, Health Agency. Number 1, consider approval of a request to award bid for the purchase of a 4-wheel drive vehicle to fulfill the duties of the on-site wastewater program of the Environmental and Community Health Division at a cost of $20,879.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ed Kalis, Health Agency, here for questions.
That's it?
I would just,
Questions?
well, I would just note that
Sorry.
we got 4 or 5 bids, in some range almost to $24,000 from what I recall, and this bid was for $20,879. I think it was a Latham Ford.
Correct.
Okay. And I'll make an motion to approve
Big
the
range.
request.
It's a motion by Commissioner Archer,
Second.
second by Commissioner Cook. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thanks.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
Morning, Commissioners. Craig Barnes, Health
Morning,
Agency.
Craig.
I just wanted to bring to your attention the Million Steps Challenge that we'll be kicking off January 4th. What that is a free 8-week walking program that we have partnered with the Wellness Information Network and the City of Topeka. We're kind of doing a friendly competition with the City of Topeka to see how many more steps that we as a county can do than the City of Topeka. I have full faith that we'll win. But we have already, in the 3 weeks since we've started registrations, already had 47 people sign up. Of those 47, we've already had 29 of them pick up their packets for early enrollment. And so we're hoping for our kickoff event, which will be Saturday, January 4th from 9 to 10 at the Westridge Mall Food Court, where we're going to be doing separating into 4 intensity groups. So we'll have really easy walks to a more arduous walk, including stairs, hoping to get a lot more involvement. I sent to Jane today another reminder to go out to all county employees, and I know the city did as well. So we're hoping for a really large turnout for this event to kind of kick off the new year for a nice start.
Very good.
Any questions or anything?
Well, thank you very
I
much.
hope to see you through there.
Yes.
Maybe? All right. Happy New Year's.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Nope. Okay.
Item 6, Executive Sessions.
And there is a need for a 10-minute executive session concerning employee-employer relations, not to exceed 10 minutes. That's a motion. And non-elected personnel. There's Jonathan. Yeah. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. No action anticipated.
Well, you're awful quiet. How are you today? I like that. Out there for a workday. It's very good. You're ready to party on New Year's Eve.
Okay. Ready? Okay. We are back in session. No action required. We are adjourned. Thanks.